I am Darius, the Sugarless Crystal, your sugar-free destination of YouTube. Enjoy me. They say I'm guilt-free. Indulge. So people are just coming in with the recipes. They're like, Darius, I need you to make this for me. And you know what? It's what I do. I have no problem whatsoever doing it. So here we go with apple muffins, almond flour style, keto style. Dive into the recipe. You want to start this thing off by making your apple crumble on top. Now, as it progresses at the end of the video, after I taste, I'm actually going to break it down for you guys why this is the way it is. So we have an apple crumble. Now, this is where we're going to use our actual extract. I mixed this off of screen because if I would have did it on screen, my hand would have been covering the food, so you would have never saw it anyway. But I did show the part where I actually broke it down for you. So it's a half a cup of almond flour, a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, 2 tablespoons of cold butter, and 10 drops of your concentrate. This is going to be an apple concentrate. I use a double apple. I actually recommend using a double apple because one is going to be more of the red delicious kind and the other is going to be more like the green apple. This is going to give you the best of both worlds, or simply just an apple flavor. When it comes to apple concentrates or apple extract is very expensive. Like, it's going to cost you if you want to use it. But it has alcohol in it. The concentrates have glycol. This is the one I use. I'll actually link it below. Capella double apple. The one-on-one flavors, the ooh flavors, they have double apple as well. I know a lot of people like that. This is all we have are the extracts. So, you know, no more than we eat keto desserts. After that, you're gonna actually stick it in the freezer while you're making the rest of your apple muffin. We're gonna start with our dry mixture. Now this dry mix is going to give us 8 apple muffins, or keto apple muffins. I haven't thought about a name yet, but by the time I release this video, it's going to be something extravagant. 1 cup of blanched almond flour. This is the almond flour without the husk on it, so I suggest you use that one. It'll actually alter the recipe if you do use almond meal. 2 tablespoons of coconut flour, 1/3 cup of sweetener, granulated sweetener, a half a tablespoon of apple pie spice. Now I got McCormick's. If you can see that, oh, I had it turned the wrong way. And then there's a barcode sitting across it. I actually had to order this. I live in the middle of nowhere, sorry. But apple pie spice seemed to be the easiest. I did try to make my own spice mixture, but I thought about it. I was like, what's the most convenient? What's the most easiest thing to do for the viewer that wants to make it? And then plus I couldn't get it right anyway, so that's the real reason. Confessions. A half a teaspoon of baking powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We have 7 tablespoons of butter, 1.5 teaspoons of liquid stevia, or you could use liquid monk fruit, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 2 large eggs. Now all these things, if you look in the description box and you click on the link to take you to the site, you'll actually see all these things, and I'll show you exactly what I use and where you can purchase them off of Amazon. Now at this point, you're gonna put them in the muffin tins and you're gonna bring your crumble back out of the freezer. It's gonna be semi-hard now. It's not gonna be frozen, of course, depending on how long you want it to take. But it's not gonna be frozen, and what it's gonna do is gonna be easier for you to break it apart, and it'll come off in crumbles. And you can just kind of mash it together like that, like, you know. You're gonna put little crumbles across each of your muffins. You can give them a slight little press down, but for the most part, they'll actually melt down a little bit into each other. So it really won't be an issue, but just for maintenance reasons, I do like to push it down. And we're gonna place them into an oven at 330 degrees. Now, if you have 325 setting, that's where you wanna go. If you don't have 325 and you have one of the older type ovens like I have, go with 300. I would rather you risk a less of a rise than cooking them too fast and destroying the moisture and just having a hard or either dark outside and then the inside is barely cooked. But 330 seemed to be ideal. It allowed for the muffin topping to crisp up a little bit, and it allowed the actual keto muffin itself to rise and keep a very soft texture. Oh, how can I forget? I'm sorry. And fold in a 1/4 cup of almonds. After I taste it, I'm gonna let you guys know what those almonds there. It's a little mind trick, okay? Little Jedi stuff going on out there. The wonderful thing about these, they actually held up very well. I had to freeze them, well, sorry, not freeze them, but put them in the refrigerator and have them the next day. Now, I did have to stick them in the microwave for a little bit because in the refrigerator, of course, like everything else, it got cold and hard. But pop it in the microwave, or either like this one, I just set it back out. I set it out, brought it to room temperature, and everything was cool now. It's small. Let me tell you about this thing, okay? I'm so proud of it because I worked really hard on it. Like, oh man. It started out as fritters. I found out that fritters just weren't possible when it came to desserts and keto. By that trial and error, trust me. So what this does now, the beautiful thing about this recipe is the apple crumble on top. This is the genius in what I did, okay? The apple crumble is on top, but the walnuts are going throughout the base. The apple spice is in the bottom, okay? The apple spice is in at the top. So what happens is, so you come with a mixture of flavors and a mixture of textures that just knock you off your feet. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not an apple fan at all. So I had to make sure that I could replicate a taste that I just didn't really care for. But it ended up being a taste that I actually respected. Because something I've noticed since I've been keto and eating, well not necessarily keto itself, but since I took sugar out of my diet, I fell in love with whole foods. I fell in love with flavors. And I've noticed that certain things that I didn't care for before, I had a French toast flavor or something, and it was just disgusting to me. But then I got something apple flavored, and I was like, oh wow. I got something mint flavored, and I was like, oh wow. Like, cause before, when I tell you I hated mint with a passion, but now I respect it. I tell you what, I won't be eating fried apples. I promise you that. Not gonna happen. So what this cupcake does, or muffin, what this muffin does rather, is you have the apple flavoring on the top. So when you bite it, depending on how much apple crumb you get at the top, depends on how much apple flavoring you get from the concentrate. And now the concentrate, be careful with that. It's concentrated. That means you can't use a lot of it. I read reviews and I was like, I bet these people are probably using entirely too much. They said it tastes like chemical. I bet it does. It didn't taste chemically at all. And trust me, I eat extract all the time. I taste extract all the time. I know what a chemical flavor tastes like. Now, I can't speak for all brands, but this brand I definitely recommend. And it actually had pretty good reviews. That's another reason I bought it myself. Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about this muffin now. Let me tell you about this muffin. You get the nice crispy, somewhat crispy anyway. It's a little bit, some of them have more of a snap than others. But you get the hardness because it dried itself out on the top of the muffin. It wasn't on the inside. It dried itself out on the top of the muffin. So you get the apple flavoring out of it, and then you bite through it. So, but at the bottom, you're getting the apple spice mixture along with a little bit of vanilla. Just a little bit of vanilla. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of vanilla. And then guess what happens? For some reason, you bite into a walnut. You bite into a walnut. And let me tell you what this walnut does. You don't taste walnut. Your mind is so screwed up at this point. You're like, was that an apple? No, it wasn't an apple. It was walnut. I'm telling you, you gotta try it. The beauty in what I did, and I did it by absolute accident. I wanna take genius in saying I devised this plan from the get-go, but I didn't do it. I really didn't do it. I bit it and I was like, well, all right, I see you, boy. I see you. I see. I forgot the word. I didn't forget the word. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it starts with the C. That, jicama, and zucchini. People have used those in the place of apples. Now, when it comes to fried apples, I'm pretty sure Nom Nom has a recipe, so I'm pretty sure that one's gonna be well. But there are a couple other ones out there as well. I'm sure to pull off fried apples with the essence of everything else that's going on, it'll definitely distract you from the very bland taste of zucchini and the jicama. I'm more than certain that those will work out for you, but it doesn't translate over into baking. So your typical fruit has about 85 to 87% of water content. So what does this mean? Well, it has water in it, first of all, but the average vegetable, now we're talking about jicama and we're talking about zucchini. These vegetables have about 95% water in them. So what I ran into is I kept trying to dry the vegetables out, but regardless of what I did, the water would bleed out into the cake. It's not an option to cover it in almond flour. It's not, I mean, I could have covered it in coconut flour. Coconut flour probably would have stuck to it. That may have helped, but there was just so much water. I actually opened the oven one time and there was just like water sitting on top of it coming from the zucchini. And now it didn't affect the flavor as much as I thought it would, but if you bit into it and you saw a zucchini or a jicama, you would see a wetness around it. And that just wasn't attractive. And I didn't think that would look nice in photos. I didn't think that translated into a decent taste in your mouth. So therefore I took it out of there. That's how I ended up with the walnuts being inside. I had already devised the plan to have the apple crumb on top. But what the walnuts ended up doing for the texture and the mind games that it plays with you, I didn't see none of that coming. I didn't see it coming at all. But that's it. If you enjoyed this recipe, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I am Darius. It's a Sugarless Crystals, your sugar-free destination of YouTube. I'm not a chef. I'm an entertainer. Bye.